You've seen the many different varieties of drums that we use. That first drum that I shared with you, the water drum, they say represents the sound of this earth. They say that the Creator, He blew life into this earth. And when He blew life into this earth, there was a sacred cave that was left behind. The sound that came from the cave was the wind blowing into that cave, where it made that sound like vroom, vroom. And that's what the drum is supposed to represent, is that sound that goes into that cave, kind of the heart of this earth. The other drum comes from the Northern Plains style of singing, and I was raised up in Omak, Washington, and also in Peridot, Arizona, and also near Coolidge Dam. That's where I grew up at, and that was my playground. The hills behind me, that was my playground. This drum comes from the Northern Plains style of singing. They say this drum represents Mother Earth's heartbeat, your own heartbeat. Every living being has a heartbeat. The first heartbeat that you hear, they say, is from the beating of your mother's heart when you're inside the womb. That's the first drumbeat that you hear. It's a drumbeat that carries you throughout your life. And that's a common drumbeat that's used on this drum to represent your own heartbeat. So far you've been hearing that steady, constant beat. And you hear those accented downbeats in a drum. Sometimes it represents the north, the south, the east, and west. Different songs, it might represent the gunfire that was shot upon them. But they say this drum represents Mother Earth's heartbeat. The drum beat also represents your own heartbeat. But when Hollywood came along, they created this one drum beat. I don't know if any of you heard it before, but it kind of goes like this. Then in the background you hear some music that went dun 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 dun. And then you see one feather pop up. Well, they say this drum represents Mother Earth's heartbeat, your own heartbeat. So if any of you folks ever hear your heartbeat go like, you better go see a cardiologist real quick, because that's not how your heart sounds, and that's not how this drum sounds. The songs that I sing, some are in the vocal style, some have the words. The word songs, they're specific songs for a man, for a woman, for a child. They would sing in that song. The vocal songs are like more of an intertribal style of singing, so families can dance together, friends can dance together. This next dance is very unique, and Derrick's going to be sharing this dance and explaining this dance. So again, let's bring him out with a gigantic round of applause.
Glad you're all able to join us here. Today I chose to wear my Choctaw style of clothing. A few years back as well, I was adopted by Lisa Little Iron, Oglala Lakota, who did majority of the beadwork that I have. You'll see the designs of teepee and also their stories of celestial creation, understanding things falling from the sky. And many peoples of native descent talk about travel as well. Even in Hopi, we talk about these abilities way back. So a lot of times what we see currently or nowadays, there's a lot of things that happen way back in time. So time is often in cycles. It's not just a linear process. And in Hopi right now, this time of year and this cycles that occur is Gaumweau, so we call it scary moon. So I kind of put all my drums away. We're not supposed to be drumming, not even dancing. The idea is kind of like the plants, you know, the ones who lose their leaves, the deciduous trees, and others, you know, life. You know, you've harvested your corn, your beans, squash, melons. You know, you've dried it, it's all stored away, and it's quiet time, storytelling time. So again, I just put all of that away, but usually this time of year I don't dance or perform in recent years. But having that title, you know, I have a little bit of obligations to share for encouraging hoop dancers to continue on. So around the world, so many different calendars, ways to practice life. So this dance, again, has allowed me to travel to other parts of the world to share it, and in doing so, have that first-hand experience of how we're all underneath the same sun and moon, engineering cultures through times of adversity and prosperity. And in Hopi, we, like many peoples, will talk about a beginning and even acknowledge a time before human beings become part of this universe. And we talk of a first world where first woman, first man is created, how we traveled through a second, through a third, and arrived to this, a fourth world. And arriving to this fourth world, we talk of Sipapu, a place down in the Grand Canyon, and arriving here, and migrations that occur. My Choctaw relatives, we have a mound over in Mississippi that there's a hole. They talk about arriving from below the ground. Also within Apache culture, they have that sacred cave, as Eldred mentioned. So many peoples of native descent seem to refer to arriving from below this earth, and then maybe migrating. And also when we arrive here, for us in Hopi, for example, we meet a being we call Masawa. Masawa gives us instructions of look to do Nasabe and become a Hopi people. So we find Dua Nasabe up in northeast part of Arizona, meaning center of the universe, center of the universe to practice a unique culture. And so you could see right now, the shortest day of the year, but what is it on the other side of the equator? How this thing is traveling. So as you go through this dance, you can see maybe cultures. You could also see the ideas that the plants, animals, insects, in maintaining balance also require healthy air. They require healthy water, soil, and the use of that fire. So you'll see them. And again, modern science, new technology, age-old practice of observing nature still have many more questions of how things operate. So for us, they're the ones who are our teachers. Many of them were here before a human being arrives here. So when we say we meet Masawa, Masawa tells us there's really no need for a human being to be here. But for a human being, we need this place. So our fundamental responsibility, obligation is stewardship. You hear this around the world. Practice in unique ways. But underneath this umbrella of stewardship, you show compassion and respect for all things. And we all arrive here with some type of beautiful gift or something we're supposed to accomplish. And if we're really able to listen to that, we're going to probably make a better world. Right now, we're kind of being marketed to behave a particular way, maybe driven by economic reasons. But no matter how long or short life may be for one, if you accomplish those gifts, we're going to travel on and to a place many call home. No regrets. So in many cultures around the world, it seems like we all talk about arriving to this world in the physical form where there's a spirit, a physical, joining together. And no matter what culture, lineage ways you practice, you're going to go through rites of passage. Yet everything that you use in the physical is going to stay here. And we're going to journey on with all those beautiful experiences, memories, and hopefully accomplish what you're here to do. So we all walk around, we all remember when we're little kids, we knew and we still know today what's right and what's wrong. And it's just to whatever courage and strength that you have to not necessarily do things, a black and white of right and wrong, but what's the healthy choice in the time you live in. Because some will say, maybe we're inheriting something from our parents, grandparents, those before us. But most definitely we are borrowing from our children. So the cultures that we make, you'll see this globe that is made at the end of the performance and setting it down, acknowledging that we are the engineers. All of us here have a responsibility to make a better world. And right now, some ways it was a time where everybody was a little jealous of America. But now they look at America and you could hear it, very, to me, in my opinion, real kind of more self-centered. Not really working together, not really working with the plants and animals, not really taking care of the environment. Again, as the consumer, if that's good, we're going to be good. So it's filled with prayers and cultural doings across North America to encourage all life to be healthy. So if all life is healthy, we'll be very much that as well. So with that, sharing with you, hoop dancing, encouraging the strength and diversity in life. Bye-bye.